Welcome back. We're going to be continuing our conversation on the Pokemon historical sales and why David's life is a lie, and he needs to see that he's been brainwashed by the USSR.
Someone kill me.
Exactly. Even when presented with evidence, he still denies reality, just as Yuri Bezmenov once said when he discussed the demoralization of the American people by infiltrating with Soviet communist propaganda into the schools. 15 years to educate one generation of students, and now that education pair of students becomes enforcers for the new socialist and communist regime, which means only 5 years after that for them to become radicalized. And then once you get to a few thousand members, well, now a second Bolshevik revolution can happen, and we can start demoralizing the populace even more. We can create things like identity politics, which were created in the 1980s. They were actually created a bit earlier in the 30s, but that version of identity politics is so far removed from the versions we have today that it doesn't count as the same thing. And last but not least, you'll realize that your life is a lie.
You officially lost me.
Because you don't know shit about the Cold War.
You're right about that.
Yep. Do you even know what the hell I was saying?
No, I kinda got lost.
Okay. Yes. The brainwashing is working. Good to know. Anyhow, shoutouts to the Unibomber. He was a piece of shit, but at the same time, I kind of felt bad for him because he really did get MK Ultra'd by the government.
Oh, you're really saying shout out to a terrorist?
Well, I'm saying shoutouts in the case that is like, he's bad. I even said he's a piece of shit. But at the same time, it's like, it was the government's fault. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, well, so...
back to Pokemon Misery.
Do you have a hope for Legends today, or...?
No, I got the game for free. That's how little hope I have in that game.
So, what are you saying? If this game is bad, you will never trust Pokemon again?
No, what I'm saying is if this game doesn't even meet the bare minimum of my expectations, I will never trust Pokemon again. And my bare minimum isn't exactly very high. Okay, my bare minimum is at least be as good as Sword and Shield, for the love of God.
Okay, I'm hoping that could be achieved.
And even then, if it's only just as good, that's pretty tragic, I'm not gonna lie.
And what if it's better than Legend Arceus?
Well, then I guess I'm back for Gen 10. Like, that's really it.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say you're not gonna bother with the DLC.
No?
Yeah, I figured. I want to confuse why they introduced it so right now.
Well, because they want to get into that deluxe edition craze.
But what the deluxe edition? I don't think it's anything but deluxe edition.
No, if you like setting it up as a DLC, you're now no longer limited to a pre-order bonus. So now the fear of missing out doesn't exist, which means later on, if you want to get the true version, you got to buy the DLC and the game. So you're gonna be spending what? $100, which is honestly pretty typical, considering that the average Pokemon generation in the Game Boy was 40 to 50 per game, depending on which generation. Let's just say 40. If you want to play Red, Blue, and Yellow, you're going to drop 120, fine. Gold, Silver, Crystal, you're going to drop 120. Gen 5, they were all 40 each, so you're going to be dropping 200. So honestly, the 100 of $20-$25 doesn't really feel as painful as, say, doing that in 2005 for Gen 3, because actually, let's do the math. How much was $200 in 2005? That's about $331 today. So yeah, no. Yeah, people complaining about pricing don't ever factor into account inflation, purchasing power of the dollar. They tend to forget that Nixon removed us from the mineral standard. And okay, there's a lot of things that went wrong during the 60s and 70s. That was a real case of destabilization. So in other words, fuck the USSR. Yeah, if it isn't obvious, I fucking hate communism.
Yeah, no, I've been made pretty clear.
Yeah, which is weird because I'm Californian. California, infamously in Florida, they call us California. Yeah, but that is how it is. What else? Oh, Japan has introduced new legislation to fight against the payment processors of Japanese media, which hopefully will also end this whole MasterCard censorship nonsense.
What do you mean? What MasterCard censorship nonsense? You
know how MasterCard is preventing you from purchasing certain Japanese products as well as games on Steam?
Actually, did I know that? No. Oh wait, okay, yeah, I do.
Because of that Australian women movement?
Yeah, so I don't want, but again, my brain just stopped working. I said MasterCard another word for Master Duel. My brain stopped working.
That's certainly a take.
Yeah, I know exactly what we're talking about now.
Yeah. Yeah. Australia sucks. They don't have freedom of speech. They're an inferior country. What else?
They have Spider Season, which is basically hell.
Yep, No Game No Life Book 3 is banned there, so fuck them.
What happened to Book 3?
We get to see Izuna completely naked.
Okay, yeah.
It's still not justified. I'm still mad.
I'm not saying it is.
Okay. Also, they had arguably outside of the CCP the most restrictive regulations during the pandemic lockdown enforced by the government. They also ushered into more inflation by printing out money, similar to how the USA created the stimulus checks. which, by the way, stupidly, by the way, doubled the amount of money that exists in the world. Half of the world's money today was printed in 2020 during the COVID lockdowns, which sent inflation into a freaking surge, which in turn caused the housing crisis that we are currently in once again. It didn't really cause the crisis, it just made a second crisis, so it just made things worse.
I think.
Yes. If there's any positive news, is currently there are peace talks in the Middle East to finally end that godforsaken war.
Oh yeah, that.
I mean, to be fair, if the president can pull it off, he will get a Nobel Peace Prize. Which is fair. Okay, all jokes aside, whether you love or hate the guy, ending the freaking war in the Middle East, which was said to not be possible and it'll never be done, would probably earn you a Nobel Peace Prize. I don't care who did it.
Probably yeah. But, I don't know. If he managed to push support, I'll be surprised.
I mean, he gave us peace with North Korea, dude. Okay, he ended that shit.
Did he? I thought the war with them is still a thing to worry about.
If you're talking about the Armistice Treaty that happened many years ago, that's still in effect, but that's not gonna happen. Okay, the reason it's not gonna happen because Trump and him had dinner and they negotiated peace.
In case that obvious, I don't keep up with politics at all.
Fair enough. Why did that in Megaman? We had the weirdest freaking videos, man.
Because they don't know much about to talk about. You don't know much about Megaman, so I can't really gush about.
Well, you can gush and teach me things.
But I'm not that good at it, like with you. I'm not good at it. Period.
Like that's probably a big difference. Because like, say when we were playing 06, it's like you were talking shit the whole time, and I was, explaining why I liked XYZ. Like even if you don't agree with me, at least we were having a dialogue, a communication, a discussion with one another, which made it much more entertaining. So the problem is we don't have a very divisive view on this game. I think both of us, for the most part, do like this game. And you never got to the ending, so the part that I don't like, you don't have an experience that.
Right, that's probably it.
So the issue here is that we're too positive, okay? We both like this game.
Oh, good. What's going on here?
Venom. Oh, I remember why. I forgot what I was supposed to do.
Oh yeah, it's on the platform.
No. By the way, did I mention that this game has a shit ton of bugs?
Yeah, you have.
Yes. See, that's the real issue. There's not really much to converse because we don't have positive or negative. Like, remember when we did Scarlet and Violet? That shit was a discussion.
Right.
Yep. That was a cool video series. Although I wish my audio was better because that's when I still had the second iteration of the microphone. I'm currently on the 4th iteration. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's like, Mega Man's story never interested me as much as, say, like, Sonic's story. I think Sonic has a cooler lore.
I mean, I suppose so, but like, still, the Megaman still has a good story, especially when doing the X storyline, which things got pretty intense.
The Robo-Enzovirus.
That's Megaman.
Yeah, that's the Maverick thing, yeah. But that later became the Maverick thing. Come on, let's be real.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Despite what the developers say, how they're not connected, no, they are definitely.
They have to be.
And the Maverick, the Meteor from Mega Man 8 or the 7.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly my point.
Yeah, those things are definitely connected. Especially the whole thing with how one of the villains from Mega Man X2 is Dr. Wily in the robot form.
If we find that, we'll find Dr. Wily. I've seen that cutscene in Japanese. It sounds perfectly fine.
Oh my god, was that from the original Mega Man cartoon or
no? That's from the games.
Captain. Oh, I remember now. Yeah.
Hey, Bass! We are not enemies. Why must I fight you? I said that backwards. It's hey, Bass! Why must I fight you? We are not enemies. You'll pay for your insolent coward. I'll be back.
I kind of forgot that Mega Man had a very high-pitched voice in that game.
And also, Roll is British for no reason. This thing. Anyhow, what else is there? You never read Gunsmith Cat, so you don't know what to talk about there.
No, but no.
Comics are too political right now, so we can't really talk about any modern comics.
No, especially now the things that are going on there, especially with now that I'm just learning that apparently comics starting to use AI in their art.
Well, they've been doing that for like a year at this point.
I'm just finding out now, but
which is crazy because that's the thing about it. It's like if I never told you that, you never would have known. You would have kept buying like nothing happened. So
that's what bothers me.
Yeah, so it's the whole what happens when it gets so good you can't tell, or what happens when it gets so good that it's better than humans. It's a joke. Either humans will have to get better, or AI is gonna take away that kind of job in the industry. Now, obviously, there will always be a need for an editor of the images because AI images currently are not good enough to be a 100% match. And 2, we're also gonna need a prompt engineer because prompt engineering is actually a lot harder than you think. Like, we could say XYZ, but unless we're very specific on how we input it, it's gonna have issues. So not to say it'll replace all humans, it'll just replace a lot of them.
But we're getting very, very close to Skynet.
I guess, but it's like, communists are worse though.
Yep. Imagine it. Imagine that communist Skynet.
No, I think AI is smart enough to understand why communism is a bad idea.
I hope you're right.
It has never worked a single time, bro. I think the computer can see a pattern of fuck-ups and say, let's not do that.
Yeah, or you might see the pattern and see what the human error did and correct it.
The problem is, communism, even when working as intended, is still bad. It really is, because it fundamentally disregards the law of supply and demand. Like, let's put it this way, David. If there was a bill proposed that said, from now on, for the rest of eternity, all food is free, would you vote yes?
Probably yes, yeah.
That's the problem. Now you just invited socialism. What's gonna happen if all food is free? Well, now there's no cost associated to food. We live in the USA. There are some fat fucks who will eat more than you and me combined. So what's gonna happen? We're gonna have mass deaths. We're actually gonna have issues with running out of food, because in any socialized system like that, there will be errors. If you want to get rid of the desert, have the government manage sand. That's a famous quote. And
is that actually something that can true though?
Well, yeah, we want the government to protect the rainforest, so we give it to corporations, and guess what? We still have rainforests. If it was if it was left completely up to the government, we wouldn't have rainforests anymore. Okay, shout outs to your paper companies for actually also being tree planting companies.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like
Is that also why national parks are government sanctioned thing?
Yeah. And the thing is, national parks have been mismanaged so badly, by the way, that now only really upper middle class and rich people can go to it. That's pretty much it. If you're not a really upper middle class or rich, you're not going to a national park. It's just not happening for you.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So what happened there? Oh, the government managed it. Whoop-de freaking do. Okay, so why is housing so expensive? There's a lot of things that we're actually going to skip this conversation because I realize it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be ready for my takes.
Meanwhile, I've been trying to think about what else to talk about during bring up Mega Man stuff here because...
See, that's the thing though, even if you wanted to like go off and tell me why you love the series, every single plot point, XYZ, it's like, I think you're not passionate enough to do it.
Well, I guess you're right. If it was Star Force, I would have gone on a whole tangent. But the XDive is one I don't have much experience in.
And I've always preferred the classic series anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I did, and also I guess that's the other thing. I've only played the first 6 games from the Mega Man X, for the first Mega Man Legacy Collection. Never played the other ones, except for 11.
Okay, that's fair though. Because as a certain friend of ours says, once you play 2 of them, you pretty much played all of them. He's kind of right. The classic games are very similar game to game.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, oh, in 5 we get Rush. Cool.
11 introduced the double gear system, which... What is an interesting mechanic.
Didn't Wily Wars introduce that?
Yeah, exactly. Wily was the one who invented double gear, and then
no,
Mega Man...
I mean Mega Man: The Wily Wars on the Sega Genesis channel.
I have no idea.
The Sega Genesis channel, by the way, is the original Game Pass. It was the first games as a service system. It was the first games playable online as a system in 1994. And it died because, well, tragically, dial-up internet is not good for online gaming. Who knew?
Huh. But anyway, what did you say about Wily in that?
There's a multi-gear system in that game. You can have like 3 gears at the same time.
Okay, but I think we're talking about something different. In Mega Man 11, the double gear system is a whole mechanic that either the 2 things. Either make the Mega Man so fast that basically time slows down.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. You're correct.
Or it gives them like incredibly super strain.
Yep, you're correct about that.
It was an interesting mechanic for the game, which honestly did make it interesting. And it worked. And there was a way to add up for the surprising comeback for the Mega Man classic franchise.
And then they didn't do anything with him after that. Shit.
No, but I'm hoping we get more.
Problem, David, is that the new generation doesn't really fucks with those kinds of games. The only reason Hollow Knight is different is because they also like the Metroidvania. A traditional linear 2D platform side-scroller game is not hot with the market right now because the truth is the general population views that kind of gameplay as archaic and outdated.
Oh yeah. No, it is archaic, but it's fun too.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. The general population doesn't give a shit if it's fun, if it's archaic. They want it. Why do you think so many games try to copy the freaking God of War / Last of Us combat system? Like, why does Silent Hill F have the freaking devil trigger in it? Like, what the fuck?
I didn't know that. I don't know anything about Silent Hill.
Well, Silent Hill F is nothing like Silent Hill, first of all. That game is a piece of shit also, okay? It's also anti-natalist, and it was commissioned by a Chinese studio. While the main author, Ryuk Shirena, the guy who wrote Higurashi, is Japanese, the game was technically created by Chinese developers. And as we've learned from interviews with people like Ian Flynn and other game writers, they don't really have creative control over the game's story, but more accurately, they're given the game and they're tasked with actually writing the dialogue and stuff like that. But the actual game and story tends to be made by the company itself. So it's a case of Ryuki Shirena did his best with what he was given to work with, and even then, it's a anti-marriage, anti-natalist game that depicts marriage as abusive. And don't get me wrong, there are some abusive marriages, but holy crap, are you telling me all 3 marriages in that series are abusive? Yeah, freaking right. Even Higurashi and Umineko had positive relationships, even though yes, there were bad. Well, we finished the episode.
Yeah.
What the fuck was this episode, dude?
I have no idea. We talked about a lot of stuff.
Did we ever talk about Megaman in any serious way?
I tried to, but not really.
Anyhow, gentlemen, that's it for this episode. Guys, have a wonderful evening. Take care.